So basically, the Tantra, we can talk about traditional Tantra, which has been practiced for thousands of years, mainly in India. And we can talk about Neo-Tantra, the new Tantra, which has been practiced for a few decades. The most famous person who brought the Neo-Tantra to the world was Osho. What he did, he took the old Tantra and gave it some interpretations so it can be very available for the Western world. So most of the practices that we do in Tantra today are the Neo-Tantra practices, especially the ones that are connected with sexuality. The traditional Tantra is a lot of yoga practices, many meditations, and a lot of scriptures and instructions of how to live your life if you want to become pure and want to be. You can be connected more easily to the divine, to the cosmos, to the universe, to God when you do those practices. And in the Neo-Tantra, it's almost similar, but some practices are different, especially, as I said, the sexual practices. So in the Neo-Tantra, we can divide the Tantra practices to three main practices, white, red, and black Tantra. The white Tantra refers to the very subtle and gentle practices of Tantra, like yoga and meditation and some kind of very nice puja where the man gives the woman gifts and some presents. And the red Tantra is the Tantra that deals with sexuality, which is the Tantra that I practice the most. I also practice traditional Tantra and yoga, but mostly I deal with the red Tantra, which means that, so you might ask yourself, how does sex has to do with Tantra, which is spiritual practice, as I said. So what we do in that kind of Tantra, we take the energy from our genitals that we have while we experience pleasure and orgasm, and we elevate them all the way through the chakras, all the way up to the crown, and then we connect. Instead of, like for men, instead of ejaculate, you ejaculate. And also for women, you take everything in and you take it up, and then you connect, okay, spiritually. So this is what the basic things that we do in a red Tantra. So this is also something that you can practice in your daily life, just breathing and taking the energy from bottom up. And imagine that you take your energy up by the breath and being connected. It's very, very, very beautiful. And there are also many other practices that we do in the red Tantra. The black Tantra is something that many people call shamanism. It has to do with all kinds of like esoteric practices, like shadow work, like finding our shadow. And what's the shadow is something that mostly we're not aware of, but it's kind of telling us what to do all the time and how to live, but we're not aware of it. It's in our subconscious. And also a death work with death, some death ceremonies and death meditations. And this is some kind of the Black Tantra practices. But this is a very rough division of the Tantra practices, but just so you get an idea what interests you and where you want to go and what do you want to learn in the future.